Hello, this is Dan Baldwin, and today I'm speaking with Jim Gledhill, founder of TelecomRecovery.com. Jim, thanks for being with us today.
Hey, you're welcome, Dan. I'm glad to be here.
Great. What we're going to talk about today to the TA audience is Jim and Telecom Recovery have a terrific solution for end-user businesses that are concerned about how to keep their connectivity with the rest of the world up in the case of some sort of emergency. And so what TelecomRecovery.com is inviting all TA members to do is talk to their small, medium, and enterprise business customers about Telecom Recovery's solution and invite them to go ahead and do a prospective customer call with Telecom Recovery. And so what we've invited Jim to do here today is go ahead and share with us the exact call that they would do with a TA member's prospective customer if that customer went ahead and did this call with Telecom Recovery. So Jim, why don't you pretend I'm a prospective customer and go ahead and share with me what you share with the Telecom Recovery prospective customers on our first sales call.
Okay. All right, Dan. Hey, and Dan, there's one point that we need to emphasize, and that is, an agent doesn't really have to sell the service. If they will invite the customer to a webinar, we're the experts on how systems work, on how to back up phone lines and everything else. If they just get a customer on a webinar, we will be there and support them and help them through the sale, and so they don't have to learn how to make different things happen and things like that. So,
great. And
that's going to be important because so many agents are so busy learning how to MPLS and conferencing and everything else. We take the load off just by doing all that sales presentation and answering all those technical things ourselves.
Super.
Let's go ahead and get started and show you exactly what we're going to show our prospective customers. We're going to invite them to a go-to meeting so we can do this remotely on the web anywhere in the country, and we start by telling them who we are and what we do, and then we identify, what's at risk. What would happen if you lost your ability to communicate with the outside world? If nothing happens, you don't really need us, but the customers that need us are those banks, financial institutions, hospitals, anybody that experiences any kind of pain when they lose their telephone service.
Mm-hmm.
So we identify what's at risk for them. Maybe it's most of the time it's going to be revenue, sometimes reputation, things like that. But then we ask them what's their current system to mitigate the risk. And most businesses don't have a system. We have all kinds of recoveries we've done in the past. Most of them are weather-related, but they're almost all, or the majority of them, are man-related. Somebody someplace has done something, either cut some lines or pulled the clips off a bridge or whatever and caused a problem.
Right.
And so the common causes for these outages are, power failure, equipment failure, cable cuts, upgrades, water damage, mistakes, and then we have another list of about another 15 or 20 things that we found that are less likely, but you can't believe how businesses can lose communications. All different kinds of things could happen. And when you lose your communications, you have two distinct problems. First of all, you can't make an outbound call. Now, that's not a really big deal for a lot of businesses. What's really important is you can't receive inbound calls. If your phone lines go down and your customers or constituents or members are trying to reach you and all they get is dead air, and you know what? Let's try a competitor. Let's try someone else.
Right.
And if you have obligations to if you're a credit union, you have obligations to members, you want to be able to answer those calls because some answer is better than all circuits are busy or no answer at all. The existing solutions for recovering inbound calls are right now scream and wait. You're going to call the telephone company and say, my line's not working, please help me. And that's the same solution we've been using for the last 20 or 30 years.
And it's so effective.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if you have a lot of money, we've seen organizations that have spent, upwards of $1 million in piling on redundancy so they won't have that outage, but there's still gaps. But what we're going to be talking about is a shared service solution. That's where there's a powerful backup phone system. It's off-site. It's in another geography. Right now we're in Salt Lake City and Dallas, and everything is pre-configured, and it's always ready. And we have redundant power, redundant data. We use redundant carriers. And the neat thing is, instead of the telephone company being in control, you're in control. If you can get web access anywhere, you can control what messages callers hear when they call your local telephone number. But one of the most important things is now you're able to share the cost with businesses, hospitals, universities, banks, all these organizations all over the country. You share the cost. It's like an insurance policy. And yes, if you do it yourself, it may cost you $200,000 or $300,000. But now you're able to pay a monthly subscription fee, and you're going to be able to do it for hundreds of dollars.
So it's almost like a cooperative.
Yeah, I like the insurance model best.
Right.
And so what we do is we rapidly recover any business from incoming or their outages where they're not receiving incoming calls. So if all of a sudden your phone stops ringing, we're going to show you how you're going to dial a telephone number, put in a PIN code, and instantly calls are going to be redirected. And we'll show you how that works in a second. But the neat thing is that gives you control, and not anyone else. Because hey, if your supervisor asks you, hey, what's wrong with the phone system? Why aren't our operators answering calls? And well, they will as soon as the telephone company gets here and repairs everything.
Right.
Now we don't have to go to that extreme because you have control of those calls, and we're able to do this without putting any hardware or software or change any carriers that you have, because we're going to assume that your business has lost all communications, period, and we can do all this within the network, and I'll show you how we do that in a minute. But I wanted to show you really quickly, let's diagram how a call works. We have someone on the left hand making a telephone call. It hits the public switch telephone network and comes into your building. Now let's just say, hey, a backhoe cuts the lines. We lose the last mile. What we do is we go in through network forwarding features. This is we call Crisis Link with AT&T. Business continuity routing with Quest. It's in every part of the country they call it something different, but it has to be network routing. And we use network routing. All of a sudden we send the calls to either Dallas or Salt Lake, and hits one of our switches, and then it hits the web call router, and the web call router is made so it can answer those calls or send calls to cell phones. It can send calls to home phones. It can do all different kinds of things. Maybe there's some copper lines that are still working. Maybe cell phones are working, but you can't rely on cell phones to work all the time. Maybe there's VoIP phones. Maybe there's satellite phones. And we even put satellite dishes on buildings and give them a complete backup, a redundant infrastructure in case they start losing they ever lose their landlines.
Right.
Now there's also the situation where, hey, something bad has happened in our facility. You know what? It doesn't make any difference. Our services still work the same. We're going to be sending calls to all these other devices. Maybe people are going to be answering calls from home. Maybe they're going to be on cell phones. Maybe they're going to be at a business down the street or 2 miles away that's safe. But we can still get calls answered. We can do that professionally, and the caller, the customer or member calling in won't recognize that the building's not even there. They're going to have calls answered the same way that they're used to having calls answered. So what we're able to do is we're able to regain control with the feature we call instant reroute, where we can redirect or reroute thousands of phone numbers in minutes or seconds using these network forwarding features. And we're able to regain control with the GUI interface that I'm going to demonstrate for you in a minute, and we can do that quickly, and it's very easy and simple to use. And the neat thing is everything is always ready, and you don't need to activate it. The whole system is sitting there waiting for businesses to fail. So if someone wanted to test it, hey, let's roll our numbers over, instantly it's going to work. They don't need to call in and have anything loaded on our switch or anything else. Everything's loaded all the time. And what we do is we set up menus and default menus ahead of time and call routes. And so we have a default system in place. Now, the thing about a disaster and emergency is you never know what's going to happen.
Right.
You need to have a default set up, and then when the default is set up, you can go in and modify things and on the fly and change things as you need to.
So people don't set this up when the emergency happens. This is set up in advance, and they only needed to tweak it, if even that.
Yes. Yeah, everything is set up with the default, some defaults in place, and then if you need to change it because you have to change of personnel or whatever else, it's very easy to do. But let me review a few other things that we regain control of toll-free numbers. We can recover all of a company's DIDs. We've had companies that had 10,000 DIDs. We can recover all of those numbers. If there's regain control of multiple locations and they're able to share capacity, and we can scale it. If someone says, well, you know what, all of a sudden we have this recall, instead of receiving 10 calls at a time, now we're receiving 200 calls at a time. We can scale to fit their needs. We have support every day of the year, and the neat thing is now they're able to get control by sending message out to any of their people. Suppose they have a big winter storm and they want to let all their people know, hey, please come in early so you can avoid the rush hour because we're expecting a heavy call volume. They can send message out to everybody's cell phones and home phones using an emergency notification system that's inherent with our system. We also offer toll-free emergency hotlines. That's where a business has a hotline that's answered in another geography in one of our switches, so they can always have a toll-free number that in case anything happens, employees can call, customers can call, and it'll always be answered and always give you the correct information. What else we do is we can actually go out and conference in 10, 50, 100 people, 500 people, and we can go out and have the system call all of these people and bring them in on a conference bridge. So instead of trying to get the message to everybody at 9 o'clock, call this number, put in this PIN code, and we'll all be together, the system can actually go out and call the manager at his home. He can call him on his cell phone. He can call him at his weekend home. He can call him at all these places and say, yes, if you're the employee, please press 1, and it can bring all those people together. And also voicemail recovery service, so we can actually save all your voicemails and recover those, and then send them to email addresses. And also faxes. The fax service is similar to e-fax, where your fax line is down, but faxes are important. We'll collect that fax and then send it to an email address, and we'll also store it online. And the neat thing is there's no declaration or activation charge. If you declare or you have an emergency, it may only be a half hour. You activate, turn the system on, forward your calls, everything's fine, and a half hour later, the system is back up and running. You don't have to pay for that time that you have to pay to actually activate or declare like a lot of disaster recovery companies do. And we can actually protect an unlimited number of phone numbers. It's not limited by the number of phone lines you have. It's limited by the number of ports that you need. If you need to have 200 people on the phone at a time, that's your limitation. But we can do unlimited directory extensions, unlimited voicemail boxes, unlimited submenus, and we give unlimited support. Now, let me move into the live demonstration, and this is always the most exciting after we've been going on with about all the features and everything. What I'm going to do is, over on the left-hand side, these are the menus, and you can see this is a credit union menu, and the way the calls get sent to us is by this toll-free number that's in the middle of the screen. If someone calls that toll-free number, they are going to hear, welcome to the credit union. Please listen carefully as your options have changed. For a dial-by-name directory, press 1. For member services, press 2. For the loan department, press 3. For the Visa department, press 4. And so what we'll do is we can actually take these calls and send them to any of these departments. Let me jump over and show you how the call, who the call is going to be sent to real quickly. I'm going to click on the directory, and if I have a number of people in the directory, here I have a number of people here. I put their name and telephone number in there, and their alternate telephone number at home, or their cell phone. And what I can do is I could put someone's address, their telephone number here for their home, their cell phone, and their when I put their cell phone, I can text them messages. I can do any number of different things because these people are going to be part of my call group. Let me show you how that works. If we have, let's say we have member services. We have a credit union calling in, and we have some people in member services. And right now, I have Jim Gledhill is going to receive the calls, and I have a backup cell phone that we're going to give somebody. They're going to be my backup, and let's go in here. We have a directory here of 500 people. Let's go and find Dan Baldwin. I'm going to move Dan Baldwin over, and I'm going to have Dan Baldwin be another option. Let's make him option 3. And so what I'm doing is I'm building, it's kind of like an ACD group, automatic call distribution, but in this sense of the word, it's called a uniform call distribution, UCD. And so what I'm going to do is the first, when a caller calls in and they're a member, they want to reach member services, they press option 2. The first call is going to go to Jim Gledhill on his cell phone. The second call is going to go to a backup cell phone. And the third call, and if both those lines are busy, and if they were busy, we'd see red dots over here on the right, then the third call is going to come into Dan Baldwin. And if I want to go ahead and move a whole bunch of people into this call group, I can do it very easily and manage the people that are there. And if, hey, I'm going to take some people out, maybe they're going to go to lunch or something, it's very easy to do. Hey, the backup cell phone just lost its power. So I can, and everything I change here is live. As soon as I take Greg Bennett off of this, that fast, he's no longer receiving calls. Now, if Greg Bennett were on a call, that call is going to continue in progress, but he's not going to receive any new calls that come in.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, Dan?
Well, this looks pretty neat. So, as long as someone has internet access, that even during the course of the recovery, they can see how all of their phone operations are, coming right back up. Where people are working out of remote locations, they've got instant visibility, and they can see that all of their different phone departments are in fact still working, and so they are in fact still in business, even though nobody might actually be at the regular location, correct?
Yes, exactly. And what else we can do is we can set it up so that we can, this is like a box of Legos. We can set it up so we can build anything we want. We have all these different features we can add. We can, hey, just put a simple call forward. We can make a fax. We can put a menu. We can build sub-menus. We can do voice cast or emergency notification. We can build anything quickly, very quickly and instantly. And the one thing, though, we don't need to have internet access. Dan, if all of a sudden everything is down, including internet, everything is going to roll over and use our default system.
Right.
And if we don't have any internet, but we can get on a telephone call and talk to somebody, you can call our customer service, and we can make any of those changes for you. So, as far as
and that's part of, and my understanding is that's part of the setup process, where once you become a telecomrecovery.com client, then Telecom Recovery helps put all this in place, months before you'll ever need it, and they test it out to make sure that it works just the way it's supposed to work, even though they don't have internet access. They might not be able to see it working, but when all the cell phones start ringing and people's home phone starts ringing the way it's supposed to and it's been planned out, then they'll have the confidence that it is working correctly.
Yes, and yeah, good point. Also, when someone receives a call, one of these people, we have 5 people in our call distribution list right now. And when one of these people receives a call, I can put a message on there so they know where the call's coming from. I'll just play the message they hear really quickly.
This call is coming in from the credit union.
So they'll hear that, and then they'll hear, and we have call screens set up so they can, it'll say, please press 1 to accept the call or 2 to reject the call. And then what's going to happen if they reject the call, say in this case, if Sandy rejected the call, it would roll over to Nancy, our second choice. And so all of the people that are in this call group, they know where the call is coming from. Their telephone will ring, and they'll say, if you can take this call, press 1. If you can't, press 2. So it gets very powerful in making sure that calls get answered, and we can set how long they wait in queue. If here we have it set for 60 seconds, and after 60 seconds, we're going to tell them, we're sorry, but we can't help you right now. Please leave a message, and we'll call you back or something. But the neat thing is customers and members are being handled with care, and we're taking care of them. The worst thing you can ever experience is all circuits are busy, or that number's been disconnected, or it's no longer working.
Right. So now, and going back to people knowing that it's working, let's say that, a customer is in Louisiana or Florida or Mississippi and they get hit with a hurricane and they're all 100 miles away from their office and they may or may not have internet access to check to confirm this is working, but they can always call Telecom Recovery, and Telecom Recovery and their different management locations can go ahead and go on and provide that customer's service and say, yes, it is working, we're seeing it working right now, and I would imagine that you could make changes on the fly for the customer.
Oh yes, yes, we can do that, and our customer service is set up to do just that. Let me jump onto another feature. Suppose you have 20 employees and you want to send a message out, or 500 employees, and you want to send a message out. You can go ahead and send a voice message out and record a voice message, and you can also send an SMS text message out. Then you can also send out an email message. So I can send out 3 different messages, and if I have 500 employees, I can send this message out to all 500 at the same time. And so, right now a lot of organizations have these call trees set up where, Sue will call Alice and Ted and Frank, and then they'll each call 10 people, and you know what? Those call trees are unbelievably inefficient, because you have one link in the chain that's missing, and all of a sudden things stop working.
Right.
And so this way you can send a message out. You can select who the recipients are. If I want to send a whole group, a message to a whole group. I have 15 people in administration. I'm going to send a message out to them. I have 49 registered nurses, or my safety committee. I have 21 people there. I can drag those over, click this button, and send a message out to in this case, 37 people instantly.
Wow.
So that's nice.
That's pretty powerful.
There's other things you can do along the same lines. If we wanted to find out how everybody was, we could have the system call everybody. Say we had the system call a group, all the administration, and let's call all the safety committee. We're going to have the system call everybody out, then ask them if they're okay and if they can come into work. So it's going to, the boomerang feature is going to call everybody, and then it's going to ask them if they can take a poll, and then we're going to ask them a couple questions, and we're going to ask them, okay, I'm okay, I can work today, or if they're okay and if they can work, and then if they're not okay, if they can work tomorrow, or if they can't work the rest of the week. And so we can call 1,000 people out at the same time and get their responses back, and go online and look at these responses instantly.
Wow.
So you can actually call 500 people, ask them all, 1-minute survey, and get their responses, and come back and you have all the answers. And if I want to find out who are the people that can work today, I'll just go click on here, and here are the people that can work. If I want to find out who can't work, I'll just go over here and click on these are the people that can't work today. So
it's pretty powerful. So ownership and management can still control their company and have access to their key employees, even though they might be dispersed because of some sort of emergency.
Correct. It makes it so easy, and if we want to get a bunch of people on a conference call, I can actually this bridge here will call whatever groups we have and put them on a conference bridge. Then I can go in here and I can see if I have people in here right now, I could see all of the people that were going to be in this bridge. If I wanted to go ahead and, let's just say I wanted to, let's look for, let's look for Dan Baldwin. If I wanted to add Dan Baldwin to my conference bridge, all I do is drag them over there, and they sure you want to add them to your bridge, and all of a sudden it's going to start calling Dan Baldwin, in this case on his cell phone. It's going to add it to his bridge. Dan, when your phone rings, don't answer it. It's just me.
Okay.
So, but there
it goes.
There's all kinds of things we can do if faxes are important. We're going to take those faxes and.
I'm being placed into a conference. Sorry.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist.
So, but there's if your faxes are important, I can open up this fax and I can send this fax. Right now, it's being sent to this email address, and so I can see all the faxes that have come in and where they're going. And if I want to go online and look at the faxes, I could. So, there's just all different kinds of things that we put in the system to help a business make sure that even though their communication lines are down, they're going to be doing business as usual. And the nice thing is we talked a little bit about cost in the beginning. The cost is very reasonable. It gets down to someone has some multiple locations. It gets down to hundreds of dollars per month per location. Sometimes we've seen it go below $100 per month per location. Someone has a lot of larger locations, it ends up being a little more, but it's very cost effective. And for businesses that experience any kind of pain when they lose communications or lose their ability for their members, customers, constituents to get a hold of them, if they have pain, then we can solve that pain for very little money.
Great. And now this solution is not something that's brand new. You've had this out for a while and it's been tested and you have lots of customers on it, right?
Yes, we have customers all over the country that have been using it. We have universities, we have hospitals, financial institutions, distributors, anybody that experiences pain when they lose their telephone service. And if you're a healthcare organization, a lot of times you can have federal grant money pay for the service. And we've used that a lot. That's nice, especially in times like these when no one has any budget available. So there's just all kinds of options out there. And so if any agent has any potential customers, we recommend call us, talk to us. Before you talk to your customer, we'll give you some pointers on what to say and what are the key words that they want to hear.
Right, the acid test, how to qualify them. And if you think they're qualified, you ask them through these 3 questions, and then they're a good prospect. And then I would imagine the agent can be on the call, or the agent can just recommend that the prospect, call Telecom Recovery, and then Telecom Recovery will take care of the entire process.
Yeah, when we have our first presentation with the customers, we always try to make sure the agent's involved and on the call because they know a lot about the systems in place for the customer and things like that. And we really want to include them, but we're set up that we can take the whole thing and get the sale closed, and then the next thing the agent's going to know is, hey, I received a check, and it's going to come every month. So.
Great. So this is Dan Baldwin. We've been talking to Jim Gledhill, the founder of TelecomRecovery.com, who's been sharing with us how powerful his telecom recovery solution is. Now, this is not something that you're licensed. I mean, you built this, right?
Yes, built from scratch.
So you own it, not going to go away. For our members who are interested in taking the next step to do a demo with their customers or prospects, what should they do? Should they give you a call, give Tim Ruff a call? What's the next step?
Just give us a call. We have full set of salespeople here, then we can walk them right through it and go right through it with the customers.
Great, and so they can check out the website www.telecomrecovery.com, or what's the main phone number?
The main phone number is 888-437-3520.
That's 888-437-3520. Well, great, Jim. I really appreciate you taking the time to share this with our audience, and I'm sure that they will be very interested in sharing it with their customers and prospects. Any parting words that you want to share?
Nope, just good hunting.
Okay, thanks a lot. All right, this is Dan Baldwin. We've been speaking with Jim Gledhill, and we'll follow up with him in a couple months to see what improvements have been brought. Thanks a lot.